Welcome to today's dispatch from silence, truth. So my name is Sara Marie. I have just finished 108 days live sessions here on YouTube to initiate my God-led transmission-based teachings, orchestrating around human potential and how this body works, how this universe works, and how can we use that to create the life of our dreams and a way to create something beautiful for the ones we love and the lives we want to live. So I am offering Alchemy Rooms, and the first Alchemy Room is silence, and that happens next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Bangkok time, 11:30 a.m. So 3 days in a row, April 28, 29, 30. I'm going to lead us through internal alchemy, and then we're going to go into silence together and see what happens when our fields come together and explore silence. So it's a 3-day quest. It's $44. So we practice together, and then there's a Telegram group for conversations, shares, reflections, questions, all of that. And as a pre-work leading up to this, I have found myself in a miraculous situation. And every day I realize just how God sent this is and what I'm being guided into. So I ended up in the silence. Simba is in Jakarta for 10 days, and I have the possibility to take some time for myself. And I go deeper into silence. And as I explore, so silence has been my dearest friend all of these years. It's been one of the key fundamental practices. And I'm realizing the absolute depth of it. And I understand that I'm being guided here to really, really use this as a gateway. So every day I share a live transmission here around a topic that is something that I do. It's like the aspects of silence from my perspective. So we've done 2 so far. The previous one was the voice of God, and the first one was the deep rest. So the deep rest, voice of God, and today the truth is the truth. So we touched a little bit upon this in the previous episodes, that what usually happens when we turn into silence is that something happens and we are not guided, but we quickly leave the room, so to speak. And that is the truth. So whenever we step into silence, we remove the noise, we remove the voices, we remove the opinions, we remove the pressure of the world. And then all that we are left with is ourselves. And that can be a lot sometimes, because if we have a lot that is unprocessed, or if there's a lot of information coming through, so there could be either or. It doesn't mean that you have a lot to process. Maybe, I don't know. But it could be that there's a lot of information coming through, because what I use the silence for is, to activate the voice of God. And that can also be or the voice of the spirit, or voice of the heart, or voice of the universe, whatever you want to call it, or your higher self. But for me, that is God. That is how God communicates, through the magic system of the body. And that is why the deeper physical connection, like the real body connection, is the absolute key. It's like we are these super sensitive, like you have a puppet on a string, but it's God. It's a co-creation of God and the universe. It's like a harp, more that God is not puppeteering. It's like co-creating in this beautiful melody that is dance, that is life, that becomes a dance. Side quest, and I lost my train of thought. No, but the voice that we that we want to connect with, it's hidden behind all the imprints and all the noise and all the opinions and all the things that we think that we need to do, and the things that we should do, and that someone told us, and that there's all of these ideas of how everything works. And if there would be only one way, then there would be a few that would succeed, and then either everyone else would follow or they wouldn't, but they probably would. But there's multiple ways of finding the way. And that is the key. That's the point. We need to find our own way. And that guidance, that map, that voice, that's like, yeah, you have all the answers within I mean, you just take any book of cliches and different sayings, and you just choose any, and you go like, yeah, there, yeah, that's it. So we already know all of these things. It's not like it's the first time that someone tells us these things. And it's been available for us in generations, but it's like finding our own way and being able to live by that is what will bring us to where we're supposed to go in this life. And some people have a stronger calling for that than others, and that's completely fine. But that starts with the truth. And the silence is the absolute gateway to the truth. That is like, but if there's not, so first you create the silence on the outside, and create a space of silence, and then all the noise from the inside is going to come out or come up. And that is where the work is, to determine, where does this come from? Who's talking? Is that me, or is that my mother talking? Or is it my teacher talking? Or is it my high school teacher, or my high school friend, or the person who told me this? Or, we have all these imprints and ideas, and because there are multiple truths available, because my truth and your truth, in my way of living life and your way of living life, is not the same. If we're all going to have different truths, because we use silence as the gateway, doesn't mean that you're going to find the same truth that I do. But I'm going to find my truth, and you're going to find your truth. So when I go in and activate the field to find my truth, something happens when we do it together. So it's about questing like this adventure, this where are we going? But the first thing we need to look at is the truth. And what is that? And sometimes it can be difficult to understand what is what. And that's what the Telegram group is for, that we can together we can see what's happening here, or share reflections and go deeper, and we co-create. We don't know what's going to happen, but it's a quest to explore the silence. So there's no, you don't need to be a silence expert, and I'm not sure if that exists. It's like there's nobody can, there's no failing. There's no failing in the quest, except for not showing up and not doing it. But when we get, so if the truth is what turns most people away. They go like, oh, okay, so let's see if this meditation or this, practice. So meditation is a type of silence. So silence you can do. You don't have to meditate to be silent, but that is like a very good gateway, or most people have heard of it. But then what happens when you meditate? And a lot of people stop meditating because they don't understand, and then they or they don't understand the depth of it and how many layers of the truth there is. And that's what's fun about it. So when we step into the silence, that's when we meet the truth. We meet the truth of ourselves. We meet the truth of our surroundings, of our environment, of the situations, of the relationships, of everything that we are entangled with. The truth of that relationship, or the truth of the relationship that we have with everything, that's where it can come to the surface. And that is the gateway to knowing what am I doing that I don't really want to do? And that's such a huge, if we did what we truly wanted to do all the time, I think that we can have an idea of what that would mean, but I don't think we understand where it will take us. And it doesn't mean that this doesn't mean that if I can't always do as I want, then it doesn't work. And that, so it's about what is the truth of the situation that I'm in, and what am I supposed to learn here, and where is this an invitation to grow? Because the suffering is the invitation to grow, and life is evolution. So life is growth, and growth is painful, and life is suffering. But that is like that. It's like, so Buddha says that life is suffering, but it's like, it's an incomplete sentence. It's not an incomplete sentence. Life is suffering, but there's like, that has a ripple. So there's more truths to it. Yes, life is suffering, but that it doesn't, it's like, if you apply that that's a bad thing, then that's just bad, because it's not, because that is also growth. So there's like this multidimensional aspect of everything. And then, this is just like one aspect of what the great Buddha, forged. And then there's probably, miles of books interpreting this statement. So I just want to show my respect for, my what can come across as a lazy way of expressing it. But it doesn't, but I'm also very much for simplicity and not making things too complicated. So it's like, when we realize where the energy opens up, that's where it opens up, and we understand. So life is suffering, yes, but that's also what makes it phenomenal, because we are able to grow out of that suffering into a sustainable, non-suffering. So there's more to it. It is not only that is one truth. It's not all the truth, but it's a key component which makes it, no mud, no lotus. But if we have to get past the truth of what we are experiencing, and be willing to go layer by layer by layer by layer by truth. And that is, that's what I'm doing right now, because I'm spending most of my time by myself for these 10 days, and there's nobody here except a little bit of staff coming and going, but I don't have to interact, and I don't have any work these weeks, when simple, because we have integration. That's how we set up our lives. So I have the ability to go deep in and look at, okay, what happens if I allow myself to really let the body lead, and allow the voice of God to lead, and surrender to shoulds and do's and don'ts, and really examine like the impulses that comes from the body, and realizing, okay, what is what here? And I'm being called to do a 1-day tea fast. So I'm drinking the last of my favorite tea. So I'm also challenging no, I'm not challenging, but I'm leaning into the abundance, because I was like, oh, maybe I should just take half. And then I was like, no, I'm going to take it all, and I'm going to enjoy it to the maximum all day. And then a new favorite tea is going to emerge. But if I keep hoarding that and keep saving that, then there's nothing, I have to keep the circle going. Because I wanted to do the tea fast because I'm clearing something in my stomach, and I've been doing a lot of fasts and a lot of, over the years, and I haven't done that for many years now, because the body has not been in a place where that has been. I really follow the body, and I do that with all my clients. There's no fixed protocol. Anyway, and I can feel that there is something connected here with the relationship to food still. So I'm being guided to go really deep into this, and it's phenomenal. I'm just so grateful for this opportunity to go deeper and really lean into what is the feeling. And then this hunger feeling comes, and I can go really deep into that. And I'm really doing a very, very short fast. So that's how I use the detox to kind of move energy in my body. So it's very subtle. And so first I've been guided into deep rest, and then I want to see, okay, what comes after this deep rest. And then I'm being called into nature to really go offline completely, not do anything, be outside. But that hasn't been possible because of the weather. So the season right now is my worst. It's extremely hot, and it's high pollution. So not even the cat wants to be outside. Well, a little bit, it comes and goes. But it's you can only be outside in the mornings, and then the rest of the day is just it's been such a pressure cooker for a couple of weeks now. And today there's rain. So the temperature just dropped like 12 degrees, like that. It was awful this morning, and then there was this, it just cleared. And I think it's going to rain. So I can feel the storm, it's windy. And And they've been fixing the pool. So there's been they've been changing all the waters. That has been going on for a number of days. And there's been people here repairing and whatnot. And now that is fixed. So there's this new energy in the water, which is very, very interesting, because now the feeling is completely different. So all of a sudden I'm in the water and feeling like a dolphin, like in a way that I haven't been, like, wow, the water is different. It's clearly not the same water. And then the sun comes because the sky is clear. So all of a sudden I'm outside for hours in the water, in the sun, and just being in silence, not talking to anyone, like just being in there. And all these layers just comes up. It's so interesting. And that's why yesterday, like, I have to cut my hair. I really wanted to, there was like energy in the hair that I was like, I really wanted to cut it. And I don't want to be dependent on a hairdresser. I don't want to go. And then I was like, yeah, I'll do it myself. And I'm like, okay, here I am. So now I don't want to, I was like stuck in this bun. So now I'm here. So I'm like, there's this liberation that is coming step by step. And I'm leaning into really connecting with nature and allowing, okay, that's where my body wants to go. So I'm being shown very deep realizations, and I'm really looking at some highly uncomfortable truths. But I also know that on the other side of that, there's liberation. And I found the connection. So now all the things that I'm working on are connected to the same thing. I realized that today. And then today yeah. So there's layers of silence, and I'm using my process of the internal alchemy to just release the energy. And it's phenomenal. So I'm so grateful for this opportunity. I mean, both Simba and I have been wanting to do vipassanas for all these years, but we've never been able to take that time off in that sense. I mean, with all the staff and everything, that's just, and it hasn't been a priority because the lifestyle that we're living is silence. Because we've been hermiting for 9 years. So it's like, okay. That's it for today. So I notice also that the body wants to do this. I'm finding this creative process. So the silence is also an activation for the creativity. And the creativity doesn't have to be comfortable. I mean, there's something about the creation. I mean, it's like giving birth. That's not super comfortable. You know, there's a distinct connection there. So it's about, for me, I think it's about realizing, like, what is my process and what is my truth, and where am I, unnecessarily suffering. Either I'm accepting something that I should accept, or that I don't accept. I should accept something that I'm not accepting, or I'm not changing what I'm supposed to change. And the silence is the gateway to that truth. And when we stay with it long enough, and when we look at it long enough, that's why people go away and have these enormously transformational experiences in the vipassanas. Because you're forced to look at the truth again and again and again and again and again. And it's like these Russian dolls, there's unfold. So what meets the eye, at first glance is rarely the truth. That's why it's the truth is the truth. It's the truth is the truth is the truth is the truth. There's an evolutionary truth. There's not just like truth, boom, stop. Everything is evolving. And that is the energetics. It's like what the patterns are the same. everywhere in the universe. So the truth is the same, you know. There's more layers of the truth, and when we're not still enough, or we're not silent long enough, we mistake, you know, the mind, or, you know, all these other voices and patterns and behaviors. We mistake them for the truth, and that's just not the reality of things. The truth is that there's multiple layers of the truth, and that it's designed for it to be a little bit of a puzzle, or, you know, a labyrinth, and that's also what keeps it interesting, because otherwise you would you would just not, it would be boring. And that's what I who has this, it's not Maya Angelou, it's someone else that says that the evil is boring. You know, it's so easy to figure out how it works, and then you go, it's not intelligent. It's so easy to be evil, it's so hard to be good. It's like there's a it takes a warrior spirit. So it's a warrior's path, but it's not, you're not in, hopefully, wherever it takes you, but you're not in battle, but it's like an internal battle. So you need to be a warrior. You have to have the courageousness and the stamina and the skills, that's why it's so deeply rooted and aligned so well with martial arts, because to open up the body fully, it's also the physical form. It's like the vitality and the strength and the ability that I feel that I have to protect myself, or to move freely through the world. So it's like, it's this, it's not a, but it's also a lifelong practice. It's like, it's a devotion to the self and a devotion to God over and over and over again, and not go, it's like, it's not something you do for 3 weeks and then you're done. It's like, that's the commitment to God is, and that's what, you know, some people might find, oh, that's so final. But it's only if you believe that it's a trap and that you have no say in it. It's like the communion with God is communion with myself. It's like I'm allowing my true needs, and not need as in lack. It's like, oh, my body wants sunshine. I give my body sunshine, and then I am rewarded. And it's like releasing the lack is that is the evil is lack, and this false idea of that it's up to us to control the universe. It's a co-creation, but we believe that we're alone, and we're not. And when you realize that, that's like, then the abundance and all of that, it starts to unfold and bloom, and you know, we come back to our true selves. And silence is the gateway to that. So April 28th, 29, 30, I'm inviting to Internal Alchemy as the gateway into silence, and then we practice together. And then there's a Telegram group where we can have conversations about our experiences with no judgment and no right or wrong. But it's a genuine experience, so we're taking it seriously. It's a quest. If you enjoy this type of stuff, even though you might not want to join this quest, you can always like and subscribe. I am very super happy, grateful for genuine likes. I mean, for the algorithm, I should probably ask for everyone's likes, but it would feel fantastic to know that everyone who's liking is actually here because they want to. I mean, that would be something in this crazy days of artificial intelligence everywhere. Not saying that I don't like it. I'm just saying that it's contrast. And whenever there's contrast, I know that I am in the right place. And now I should stop talking. And now I know that I'm just talking because I enjoy it. So now I'm here enjoying myself with my new hair. Very happy. Very, 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 very happy. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao. I had to run before I start something new. Bye.